Hey there, Maria coming to you from the grocery parking lot. I just had a thought as I worked out and drove, and I want to share it with you. I had a client today, and she has a certification, and it's a certification that's not easy to obtain. That's like a stamp of approval that you know how to do the thing that she knows how to do. And yet she was saying to me that, I think I need a little bit more training. There's some inner work, some growth I have to do, and then I'll be ready. And I hear so many women say some version of that. I'm not saying that doesn't also happen to men, but I work mostly with women, and most of the people that take my courses and my teacher training and so forth tend to be women, and they tend to think that even when they have that stamp of approval, there's still something missing. And here's the thing that I can share with you. I don't think anybody ever feels ready. I think when the training or the certification that you might have tends to be, the sort of fundamentals of a discipline of some sort. But the real learning comes when you do it. It's like baking pancakes or something. The first pancake sucks, and like it's burnt and it's raw and it's the pan hasn't warmed up properly. But that's like the training pancake, the one you get to nibble on while you make the rest of the pancakes. And I think it's similar with anything that we do in the world. When we step up, level up into something new that we want to do, we're not going to ever feel ready. It's in the doing of it that we get ready. And that would be something that I would highly encourage both you and myself to keep thinking, okay, this next thing I want to do, how do I best prepare? And I even found myself, I've been studying astrology since I was in my teens, and I read astrology for people all the time. But I thought, well, if I start to incorporate that into my coaching, don't I need a certification of some kind? And it was like I was looking at someone who's like, I know all this shit. I don't need to go through that. I know what I'm doing, and I can apply that, and I'm already applying that to some degree when I work with people. But it's very typical that you think that somehow somebody else needs to tell you that you're good enough, and now you can really go do it. And I know you can come up with examples where it's nice to have that additional knowledge and kind of feel confident that you know what you're doing. But on some level, I think we know when we are knowledgeable enough, and that the rest really isn't a knowledge issue. It's a confidence issue. And the lack of confidence, how does that show up? It shows up in the body as a knot. Somewhere in the body, something contracts, makes us feel small. And the moment we contract, we no longer have access to kind of our higher self streaming in. And then we do feel inadequate. That's like the definition of self-consciousness, is like a really being drawn fully into this contracted space of being just little me, and there's nothing beyond me operating through me. Whereas when we're relaxed and open and have like a big open cup inside, then our higher self fills that cup, and we don't need to know what we're going to do 5 minutes from now, because we'll know when we get to the 5 minutes from now. So that all brings me to the importance of the relaxing and opening up inside. I taught Soma Yoga, gentle yoga class today, and that was the entire focus, was to release the contractions and the tension inside. Because in that moment, it's like who we truly are divine beings in mortal bodies. And most of the time we forget that. We think we're this little cut off individual that's trying to survive in this dog world, instead of, no, we're an intricate part of this web of life. And when we're fully open and tuned in, we know that and we feel that. In nature, we tend to drop back into that place with ourselves. If we do meditation, we tend to drop into that place with ourselves. So that is the work that I love more than anything to do with people. It's why I love teaching yoga teacher training, to help people go from contracted and self-conscious to open and willing to allow the higher self to stream through. So the physical body, you could say, the individuality, that more limited sense of self, becomes like the vessel or the instrument for our divine giganormous self to play through. And what we can do on this bodily individual level is do any and all practices that we can learn to open it up, to relax, to breathe deeply, to let spirit in, and to trust. It's that surrender and trusting that when we allow spirit to flow in us and flow through us, then something that we can't possibly think up will start to move through us and will start move us to the next thing. So it's this constant return, sort of out of fear into expansion and openness, out of fear into expansion and openness. So on that note, consider joining my next Heal What Hurts online circle. It's a small circle of people. We meet online. The next one starts on Wednesday of next week, and it goes from 7 to 8:30 in the evening. And it's a group where we move through the whole process that I have laid out in my book, Heal What Hurts, which is all about that, how to reconnect to higher self, how to bring the divine essence of who we truly are to the contractions that feel so very real in the physical body. And when the two meet, it's like there's a contraction in the physical body, and then there's the divine loving self that is also us, that come together, and in the light of that loving presence, those knots start to melt away, and more of who we truly are can start to flow through us. So whether that is the triggers that come up in a romantic relationship, or if it's the triggers that come up when you want to take that next leap professionally or creatively or playfully, something you want to do is like, ooh, I'm not good enough. Nobody was good enough when they started, quote unquote good enough. Everybody started somewhere, and then the pancakes got better and better. So I guess that's my little inspiration for tonight, with a not very pretty background of a parking ramp. Anyway, I send you love on this Saturday evening.